Now, I would like to ask this question: why people are bullying, ragging, right? Why we had so many civil wars? Right? Something wrong. So, people's resurrection, many people, the Muslim people, all people have the whole religious war. So, if something goes wrong today, that is education is the main part. We have to accept that and we should take responsibility. So taking that responsibility proactively, now we are thinking of revamping the whole education system. I will brief it because no much time.
Yes.
Now, as Minister of Education, under the leadership of Mr. President, we are talking about the new reform of education. Under that, we have identified 6 national aims of education. Right? When this is the first time we are listening to this kind of values. When a general education, graduating from the O level or A level, or even university, our 2 friends are here to represent education. Professor Viral and Swami. And all these people should be an active contributor to the national development. Whoever comes out of the University of General Education, they should be active contributor to the national development. But what is happening? So government is hiring 60,000 unemployed graduates. So is it correct? Why? Universities are not proactively accepting the responsibility. So we should produce always maybe a mason bus, maybe a barber, but he or she should be active contributor. Number 2, he or she should be effective and efficient employee or self-employed. So we have to make them very disciplined, very professional, very smart employees or self-employees who does the job in professional manner. Now there are a lot of self-employees, but no ethics, no customer service. If you take vast fellow, he will take to advance and he will disappear. Like no customer service. They are not empathetic at all about that. And number 3 is, now we are producing millions of, thousands of job beggars, but we are not creating job creators. For that, we have to have an entrepreneur or a person with an entrepreneurial mindset. In our education system, we don't by chance they come, but by systematically. And also not only entrepreneurs or people who do business or running organizations, but also people who are with the entrepreneurial mindset. Maybe a principal, maybe a vice chancellor, maybe a Buddhist monk, but it is with the entrepreneurial mindset, they develop the school, they develop the people. That mindset is important. The 4th part is a patriotic citizen. Unfortunately, our teachers themselves says, you go to Australia, you go to America. They are promoting them to it. So we are not promoting patriotic citizens. The 5th one, maybe they are patriotic, but they are not good humans. So we have to have good human values. The peace and all these things coming under that. So we have added 6th one, that is called, all these people should be a member of a happy family. If they tarnish their own family, they are not good. So now we have defined clearly, when they come out of the education, these 6 qualities should be inculcated. Until today, I think I have never heard that kind of aim. Without aim, without outcome, we are just producing graduates and
That's right.
people. Then we should also produce them. Then to produce them, we have to develop our curriculum. Not just producing mathematics and physics. Then our teaching learning methods has to be redesigned to achieve that success. Not only that, but we have to do the assessment. formative and summative assessment whether they have come with this quality. That is the nutshell in the on within that model. So we are in 21st century, so we have to have 21st century skills.
That's true.
Then under the 21st century skills, there are learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Under the learning skills, there are creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. Now he was talking about critical thinking. So if someone is with a lot of good reasoning, they appreciate. But we don't promote critical thinking. So we learn by heart and write back again. Where is critical? More reasoning, right? So that's the main problem in our education system. We are not promoting critical thinking. Even asking questions from a teacher, shut up, right? That is the culture we have. So that might be the reason we are very violent, right? And also no freedom. Then creativity, innovation, out of the box thinking, taking the risk, all these things are lacking. Then the collaboration, working with others, because all the time they listen to the teacher and write answers alone, no collaboration. So we have to change the education system to collaborate. Classroom has to be redesigned, right? So we are promoting, if there are 25 students, 5 into 5 groups, and they should learn. And teacher only guides and mentor. She is not dominating and allow them to learn freely under the guidance of teacher, right? And also the communication. So all the 13 years in general education, they are listeners, passive listeners. So when they go for interview, they can talk. Not because our kids are bad, because our system bad. Even not the teachers, not the ministers, or our system is bad. So in a nutshell, we have designed our education system to produce platforms. Platforms means you can dial only the number. But today we are asking for smartphones. So everything is there. So likewise, so we have to break the system and design it. So within that first century skills, we have to have
Thank you, sir.
curriculum development.
Thank you.
Get many things like that. With that basic comments, I would like to pass my time.
Thank you, sir. I think both of you answered that question in a nutshell. I mean, the question that I posed is how to introduce peace education into the current system. So you basically suggested to include it as a part of special course of study, like study of peace. So, and Sir Dr. Navaratna, Doctor. So, yeah, if I may like ask another question from you very quickly. So now Finland is seen to be as having the best education system in the world. That is because of two reasons basically. I have read the Finnish policy statement as well, mainly because of two reasons. The number one reason is they identify psychological disorders, personality disorders, learning disabilities at the preschool level itself and start treating them then and there without waiting until they are age like 18 and above and putting them in a psych ward or like punishing them for antisocial behavior. So what my basic argument is, yes, society can influence people as well as education, but we should also look at the nature aspect and identify whether a particular student or might likely to be antisocial. So, for example, just as you said, for example, all of us is educated in mathematics, right? Could you be a bit silent in the back? Okay. So everyone is educated in mathematics, but we are all born with different capacities, right? For example, my mathematics skills are very low, right? But for some people, for Dr. Nihal's mathematical skill must be very high, all right? Just like the faculty of mathematics, there's a faculty for morality as well. So morality, everyone does not have a same level of morality from birth. That's something that the education system should understand, all right? So should be able to see that uniqueness It's also a competency which could be developed, but you should detect it at the very early stage. The second reason why Finland is the best education system is their teachers are exceptionally qualified. They are respected more than doctors themselves. For example, if you want to be a teacher in Finland, you must have a basic degree and then a master's in education and 5 years post qualification training. 5 years, that's before they even allow you to get near a child, because that's the future. And like teachers should be the primary messengers of peace, and I think your institute, as the leading institute which train teachers, should like take into these things into account. I think you might have, because
That too, actually, maybe there are various other countries, but we have to have our own Sri Lankan model. That is what we promote. Because, we cannot transplant others' conceptions. That's what we have happened. We had that 2,500 years old Christian system, but that's vanished. So we have to have this kind of our own values. So not the based on religious or nothing, as of Sri Lanka. Right? Therefore, this novel approach is very much toward this kind of
very good.
learn from others, good practices, but we Sri Lankanize and not who is correct, but what is correct to apply. For example, I should tell you the very shocking news before minutes ago. In Sri Lanka, our per capita income is $4,000, right? Our per capita income in 1950 was $89, where Japan was at $1 per dana. Malaysia was at 30. At that time, there was no Singapore. Singapore was created in 1965. Today, our per capita income is 4,000, where Japan has gone to 48,000. Singapore, 68,000. And Malaysia is around 12,000. Right? So at least, why don't we try to become a country with 12,000, right? This World Bank is defined, the world development has 12,000 countries. So we should try. According to our calculation, it took 70 years to come to 4,000. Then if you want to go to 12,000, 140 years. No,
Yes.
I think under the new leadership, we can reach figure 50 at this level, which is years.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We should target to become a developed nation within the next 50 million years. For that, we have to have vision. We should work together. Private sector, public sector, people sector, political sector, all four P's should work towards one end. Right? Definitely we can. Right? For that, we have to maintain 10% growth rate. But people might say, oh, but just after the war, our growth rate has gone to 8.9 and 9. So why don't we? So consider this corona. So my tagline is transform education, transform Sri Lanka. If you want to transform education, but education doesn't mean only schooling. The general private sector mindset change, political sector change, the people sectors change. All these things have to be planned and done. I think education has a bigger role, but education don't define education as a limited way, just only education, not the university education in general.
Thank you.
General public, and shift the paradigm. Definitely we can.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Harsha, if I may ask, like, especially from my experience at Gateway, what I've seen as a difference is the cultural harmony that we have, the unity that we have among children. So, given this, like, we have this tendency to have these separate identity schools, which it is not what I am saying. Basically, separate schooling based on identity factors such as language, religion, culture is common feature in conflict affected countries. This may be because the lack of trust between groups, which can reinforce divisions. Initiatives that try to bring about more inclusive schooling can help mitigate the development of negative stereotypes between conflict groups. So, Dr.